Do I
Like,
think it was done deliberately is what you're asking me?
Yeah, regardless of how it came to be, but why it's come to be.
I don't think it's deliberate. I think there is some evidence to suggest it came from a lab in Wuhan, and they were testing it in bats. And the story goes that somebody, he got peed on by the bat. He got it. He self-quarantined for like 2 weeks. It wasn't enough, and they eventually released him. And that was kind of the beginning of all this. There is some evidence to support that. The reason why I don't think it was deliberate is because of China's response to the crisis. If they knew they were going to do that, they would have prepared a lot better, a lot sooner. Because, the Communist Party, it all falls at the feet of the Communist Party. Because if they had dealt with this stuff up front early on, admitted what was happening, locked down the region, went in with blowtorches and killed everything within like a 5-mile radius, we would not even be having this conversation. And they did that when Ebola showed up in China, for instance. Now, what happened? The doctors are coming out saying we got this new disease. Boom, that doctor disappears. Journalists come out and say, oh, we've got this new disease. Boom, those journalists disappeared. And the party did everything in its power basically to ignore it. And that is why we are in the position we are.
It's
today.
like China's equivalent to Chernobyl.
Correct. Exactly the same. If anybody knows, Chernobyl was the reactor explosion that happened in Ukraine, I think.
And the government kept ignoring it while it was happening. I think it was like literally a whole week before I mean, if you watch the Chernobyl, the miniseries, was it HBO or Cinemax?
Yeah, HBO did it.
And you watch it and you realize, like, and you have that scientist that basically was like realizing how fucked they are.
Like, yes, one of them.
He's like, wait, a what now? It blew up? What are you doing? You're sending these people?
Yeah, because they had no fucking clue what they were doing.
And he's talking to a room full of these, Communist Party leaders, and they're all just like, no. He's like, no, you're all idiots. Like, and then that general that comes in that basically is like realizing, like, kind of being pushed to question the party, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing you do not do is question the party.
But he was kind of like that. There was that general he was working with was pretty much like his brawn of the situation. Like, okay, I'm gonna be your muscle to like move the people to do this. Like, I know, like he couldn't outright say, I know the party fucked up.
Yeah,
but he was kind of like he was showing like, all right, we're doing this. Like,
yeah. I mean, the miniseries is brilliant in what they did, sharing that story. It is very much the similar thing that happened in China, and you see, China's gotten so hooked on basically trying to buy the world and their economic power and their economic war that they're not looking at anything else. So when this when this outbreak occurred, they're not really interested in hearing about an outbreak where they have to divert resources from buying up, all the African shipping lanes and all these other things. And that is why we are where we are today. And of course, the US has a part to play in that, in the sense, what is to come, which people haven't realized yet, is the production shortage of goods, because China's been basically, the whole country's been turned off for about 2 to 3 months, and everything, as you know, is manufactured in China. The drugs, the medical supplies, the computers, the cell phones, the technology. Now, the most good companies will have a stockpile of a certain amount of goods, but when you've been down and out for 3 months and there's no shipping that's been taking place for like the last 2 months, there's going to be a shortage, whether you like it or not.
I went ahead and ordered like a more modernized looking plague mask as a joke to see if I, just to see if I could like get it and wear it on the show.
Yeah.
It won't be here till May. Because guess what?
When did you order it? Where did you order it? When?
I mean, I ordered it through Wish. Just
when?
3 weeks ago, maybe.
3 weeks ago. Okay, yeah.
And it just gave me like, oh, we've got your product. It won't be there till May. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So I ordered the protective masks, so the mask that you're supposed to wear if you get sick, not so much to prevent the disease. I ordered that on March the 10th, either the 10th or the 15th. I can't remember which one. And that still has not arrived. So
Jesus,
that's it. Even there's another product that I ordered out in December, and it's a brand new product. The manufacturing is in China. They were supposed to deliver in January. Nothing's coming out. So this is what a lot of people are not taking into effect. They think, oh yeah, it's going to be, the world is going to survive. China's been off for 3 months, which was like 40% of the world's growth. Back when SARS was the case, they used to have like 6 million Chinese tourists around the world, pumping money into the tourist industry. Now it's almost 100 million. None of them are flying. 100 million tourists have disappeared from, the global economy. Manufacturing is off. Shipping has ground to a halt. And now people are going to be off work. They're going to be quarantined. This is fucking, you can't make this shit up. The economic slowdown that's coming is inevitable. So we just had it in China. China seems to be on the mend. But like I say, I think wave 2 is going to come because they're going to send people back out to work and this shit's going to start up all over again. But now it's in the US.
COVID-19 2 electric boogaloo?
Yeah, basically. But now it's in the US and Europe, and we haven't even begun to see what that is going to do in terms of economic slowdown. So like the banks out here in the city of London, a couple of them have closed. A lot of people are working remotely. If it's anything like Italy, where they've closed everything except the groceries and the pharmacies, small businesses, pubs, cafes, all that it's done. These people can't survive.
People that can't work remotely are going to suffer as well.
Correct. So I don't think people understand this. This is not going to be like, okay, so when Richard Cooper put out that wonderful tweet about, there's blood in the water, he's looking at the markets and, he's saying like there could be good opportunity. Thank goodness he clarified and said, no, now is not the time to buy. But when he said that, I said, this is exactly the time not to buy because you were only seeing today's reaction to what was happening 3 months ago. I'm looking at the data today and I'm predicting 3 months out to 6 months, and it ain't good.
Are you gonna buy anything?
Actually, I've cleared out my company, so I have no more stocks. But in about 2 to 3 months, yeah, there are a couple plays that I see that are going to be very, very good. I'll try and scrape some money together to put into that. I can't give advice on the show. I'll be in violation of some securities laws.
But one thing I saw too, people were again politicizing the crisis. They were putting up pictures of like, oh, it's so funny that Americans in quote unquote late stage capitalism are putting out these posts that are basically the same as when Venezuela had food shortages because of socialism. And then I go, and then I saw that and I was like, man, I was like trying to think of a rebuttal, but then I saw our friends over at Think Liberty put out a tweet. Do these socialists not understand that shipments come in to replenish those?
Exactly. Unlike.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, so just to all our, more left-leaning government is good audience, kind of believing the government should step in and do all this, it's like markets, companies produce enough of a product to meet what is demanded, supply and demand.
Correct.
So, and your socialist, democratic socialists want to go on all day, like they know better. And it's like, supply and demand, one of the most basic concepts in economics. So if you only supply as much as what the typical demand is, and all of a sudden that demand shoots to hundreds of times, not hundreds of times, obviously, but, tens of times over, what happens? You have no supply. But because these billionaire rich companies that have all this stuff, what are they going to do? Make more stuff because they're not stupid. It's not like they don't want to make money. You think Charmin is just going to sit there and be like, well, we're out of toilet paper. Like, no,
too bad.
They're pumping out as much fucking toilet paper from what I heard. It's a bulky thing to produce, but it's not hard to produce.
No.
So what they're doing right
not,
now, oh, go ahead.
Not only is Charmin pumping it out, but do you not know that there are small companies that are just opening just to produce toilet paper for the shortage that's coming? Like I can think of, I know 2 people right now who are in California, and they are buying like Mexican equipment, like an old plant that is not even being used anymore. They bought all of the equipment, and they're just planning to pump out toilet paper for the next 6 months. So not only are the big guys jumping in, but because there's such a demand, entrepreneurs are stepping in to fill the gap.
So what you're saying is, if there's, let's say, certain pink sheets of stocks of just small little like toilet paper companies, just buy them up.
Well, no, not right now. Not right now.
Months?
No, they're probably only going to be in business for 6 months, so you might miss your opportunity. But in theory, you got the right theory. It's just that there's so many other factors that are playing into what the market is always right, and the market direction will supersede any kind of fundamentals, which is the problem. So there's so much fear in the market right now. Even if you have a perfect company that's got plenty of everything, they're still going to be affected by the downfall that's taking place. It's just people selling out. So yeah, no, I don't think there's a play you can do on toilet paper. Was it Kelly something is the big Mexican producer? They might probably be doing all right, but we'll see.